You are listening to Castles and Cryptids, where the castles are haunted and the cryptids are cryptic as fuck. I'm Alanna.
And I'm Kelsey.
And I can't talk. We definitely tried that intro once, but that was my fault. Also, apologies for the audio issues last week, because apparently the first day it didn't upload properly like the last 20 minutes of the episode. So thank you for those that let me know. My siblings, Russ and Daniel. Woo! It was so dumb because it edited properly in the app, in the Audacity, and then something about the upload, but anyway, we won't blame Anchor too much or else they'll kick us off. There's another fly. They'll kick us out of here.
He's not even in the room.
The cat's not even in the room.
No, so we'll try and edit out as much as we can, but Gordo has been released from his purgatory that was the spare room. And
yes, that's the new cat. If we haven't
he
said.
Is free roaming around the house and wants Bailey to be his best friend, and Bailey wants nothing to do with him. So she's currently in my arms. But anytime he walks into the room, she is gonna growl and hiss and stuff. So just be warned if you hear cats fighting in the background. And I just keep on talking. It's because they've been doing it for 24 hours, but there's nothing physical happening. They're just in the same room.
She's totally desensitized to it.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, Bailey will like swat at him if he gets really, really close. But she hasn't actually ever made contact. And then Gordo, even though he's like twice as big as her, he has caps on his front claws, so he can't even like scratch her or anything.
Right.
Yeah.
She is definitely all up in your business right now. Just crawling closer and closer to your face so she can. It's adorable. I've definitely heard many people's cats, dogs interject on podcasts before. It's and you can tell the dog parents that are used to it, the ones that they just keep going. You're like, yep. You just hear meow meow or something like in the background. Sometimes I'm like, how can you? That would drive me nuts. I'm not used to having a cat meowing at me, but my dog can be really annoying.
See, Gordo, like Bailey's silent, like other than assisting and stuff, she probably meows at me like once a day.
Wow.
But Gordo, he actually hasn't been mad today, but he normally is like meow, 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 just like that all day, like will not stop. And sometimes I just put in headphones and be like, I can't hear you, like, because it's nothing. Like you try and play with him, he'll play for like a couple minutes and then he's done. He has food, he has water, I'll give him some attention, I'll follow him around, be like, do you want to show me something? What's going on? Nothing.
Right.
He just is meowing.
So it's just a colicky baby. No.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's too bad. It's like then there's nothing you can do to placate them or make them happy.
I'm kicking Bailey off my lap because she was getting fussy.
Booted the Bailey.
Yeah.
She's literally a baby.
She's
getting fussy.
She's a 16-year-old little baby. Yeah, she's very
forget
old.
her age sometimes.
Mm-hmm. She's doing good for her age, though.
Yeah. But, you're taking good care of her.
Yeah. So. But having a cat that's a year and a half old and is he's a Sphinx, and then a Siamese ragdoll like cross. So
really cute.
Sphinx, the Siamese ragdolls are supposed to be really low energy and they don't normally jump on stuff, but because his mom was like a Sphinx cat, so like a hairless cat, which is crazy because he's so fluffy. It's hilarious. They're like the fluffiest cats you can buy, and then the fact that his mom was a hairless cat is just hilarious. But because of that, he's got they have really bad tempers and stuff, and they're really energetic and they can be really frisky. So he is really, really high energy and stuff. So
Oh,
He'll mellow out eventually.
yeah.
He just is used to like a much bigger house and more space to run around, and then he's not used to being, or I guess Bailey's not used to being around another cat again. So
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, those high energy pets, yeah, they can take a
Yeah.
lot out of you.
Yeah.
Oh
I'm like,
man.
it's like having Fenrir like as a cat. Like Gordo like gallops into a room. He doesn't understand his own strength. He doesn't understand when he's playing that he can hurt you. He
Oh
just
my
like,
God. It was
yeah.
like Fenrir yesterday after stepping on my foot, then Pat's foot. Then he came over between us and the coffee tables right there. And then he was in between the coffee table and the couch. And he's not very good at turning himself around in big spaces. So his ass knocked over a DVD box set we had in the end, like I think it was 6 feet under, just like he's like,
Nice.
hi.
Just like
Oh
needs
my
the
God.
beep, beep, beep backup
Does
sound.
not have any spatial awareness. Akitas generally don't, apparently.
Yeah.
And he's very heavy. But anyway, we're surviving, we're thriving.
Yeah. It's Saturday afternoon. The sun is shining.
It's
It's
finally
maybe
starting.
spring.
Yeah. Well, it's melting the piles of snow, finally. Thank
Yeah.
the fucking gods.
Yeah.
It's, oh, the neighborhoods are still like, I feel like I drop Caitlin off at her house and then I go through her like road and then it's like I'm four-wheeling. I'm like bump, 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 bump because
Yeah.
of the furrows. And yeah, it's been
My
so packed.
my alley is like that because it warmed up so much yesterday, and then because they do garbage pickup
Yeah.
down our alley, the garbage truck went through when it was warm and they're so heavy it made two
Oh yeah.
huge, just super super deep ruts. And
Oh
yesterday
yeah.
when I was coming home from work, I got stuck in it. I couldn't turn my vehicle out of it to get like into my past, because somebody else was kind of partway pulled out in the alley, so I had to go like
Oh
kind of
no.
out and around them partway onto like somebody else's driveway, and I couldn't get
Okay.
out of the rut and then back into it, kind of thing. Like I
Oh my
couldn't make the
God.
maneuver, and I
Yeah.
had to keep backing up, and then they were like watching me, and they're like, no, you got to go way faster and like crank your vehicle. And I was like, oh my God, like if you guys,
Oh
because your
no.
vehicle's sticking out of the thing, make it so that you
Yeah.
damage like my fucking anything on my vehicle, I'm gonna be so pissed, because
Yeah,
somebody
that's
else was
true.
blocking my normal way to get into the alley. So I had to like drive around, and this was coming in the back way that I normally don't go. And then this was happening. So I was like, man,
Right, because it's a very, very narrow one
it
car
is.
alleyway
Yeah.
behind your house, which is so annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see
And
that being a huge issue.
our alley, like even just the regular pavement is really old, and it also is kind of sunken into ruts. So even when
Right.
it's not, that still feels like it has a bunch of like potholes and stuff. So even a little bit of snow can make it feel like you're off-roading and create like such huge ruts. But these are like probably 6 or 7 inches deep right now. Like it's really, really bad.
It
Yeah.
is gross. We had so much snow this winter. So
Yeah.
much bloody snow. Oh my God. Come on, spring. Okay.
Yeah. Perfect fitting for this week's episode, I think.
That's true. It's spring break crimes.
Mhm.
I think we tend to call it March break, I would say, up here in Canada, but whatever. It happens
I say
generally in
spring break.
March. Do you? Oh, okay.
I've never heard March break before.
I always thought that growing up, that's what we always called it. Now I gotta wonder if it's a local, provincial thing or,
Maybe.
well,
Uni-
at us. Canadian listeners, what do you say? March break, spring break? Oh, I don't know. It's always at different times too, wherever you go. But yeah, it's the party time. It's the best. Things are
Yeah.
up here. Snow is usually started to melt by then because we will have it generally at the end of March, I find, or
Yeah.
that's when my kid usually has it,
Hmm.
which is nice. Yeah, but like, yeah, it definitely gets crazy in places like Florida. I didn't do a Florida crime though. I'll tell
Neither
you
did
that right
I.
now. Yeah, I just felt like it was be too easy. We did Florida man crimes also, so
Yeah.
but It is episode 49. That's exciting. Next one is the big 50.
Yeah.
Podiversary.
Podiversary. I like that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's what we call it in the biz. Us podcasters, you know. Still feels weird to say that sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're excited. Thank you for listening enough that we didn't give it up after 7 episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice to consistently see new people listening, and we love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll do something special for you for next week. Do you want to get into it?
Okay. So I have some pictures.
Oh, nice.
It's just like of the people and stuff. So if you want to go to the drive.
Okay. Layer. Oh, I think I know this one. Okay, she looks familiar.
Yeah, you may have heard it.
Oh god.
It's been covered like a number of times. I'm sure there is podcasts that'll cover it a lot better than I'm going to. Because I don't know, I feel like there's a lot of like conspiracy theory kind of stuff going on that like I sort of touch on, but it's so hard to say like what actually happened. But this will be the disappearance of Brittanee Drexel.
Yes, I am familiar.
Yeah, I remember like
crazy.
seeing her picture and stuff. So though anybody that doesn't know like the Brittanee Drexel case, she's very, very tiny. She's 17 years old. She weighs about 100 pounds and she's 5 feet tall. She is tiny.
Aw.
Yeah.
That is tiny. Yeah. And I'm short. I'm 5'4".
Yeah.
Wow.
So Britney was born on October 7th, 1991 in Rochester, New York. And her father had left the family when she was just an infant. And then her mother, Dawn, later married a man named Chad Drexel, who actually, I guess, legally adopted Britney. And then they together raised Britney kind of as his own daughter.
Right. That's nice.
And then she also had 2 younger siblings. I'm not sure if this was like Chad and her mom Dawn's kids, or if maybe these were Chad's like from a previous relationship.
Okay.
And
there were other like half siblings or just step.
Yeah.
Siblings.
It was kind of hard to confirm information about this one because I didn't really want to listen to a bunch of the podcasts that have covered it before. And then what I could find in articles, a lot of it kind of like disputed each other. So
that can be frustrating. Yeah, because you feel like you almost have to read 4 or 5 sources to be like, well, 2 out of 3 say it's this or whatever. And you're like, okay, well, which one's a better source than the other when you don't have like Britannica.com to rely on because you're doing a true crime case.
Smithsonian.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I do get sorry. Okay.
I was just gonna say I apologize if I say anything wrong or anything, because I know there's podcasts that have done like 3-hour-long episodes about this, and mine's not going to be anywhere near that. So
no, but that doesn't mean you're necessarily going to get anything wrong. I think we do better than I don't know. It's disappointing when you like listen to somebody do a case and then they're like, what are your sources for that? And the other one's just kind of like Wikipedia, and you're like, oh, that's like you only checked one place. Like, okay. Yeah, we usually check quite a few. We just list them on our website for ease of time rather than saying them out loud.
Yeah, like I think I have 5 or 6 different places that I got information from. So Britney herself had actually a rare eye disorder. I believe it's called hyperplastic primary vitreous. When I kind of looked it up,
weird.
Yeah, when I kind of looked it up briefly, it was talking about I couldn't really figure out what it was specifically. It did have something about like childhood leukemia involved, and that it could develop into leukemia or was related to that. But it can lead to like blindness, it can lead to glaucoma, like glaucoma and stuff. And people do normally, including Britney, had multiple surgeries, and these surgeries actually left her blind in her right eye. I think that's one of the ways they treat it, actually, is like doing these surgeries. And yeah, or you can like have a detached retina when you're older if they don't perform these surgeries. Yeah.
But like the surgery is probably not supposed to make you go blind as a result.
Don't know.
That seems
I tried looking it up, but yeah, it was a little complicated on a doctor lingo that I didn't understand.
Right. No, but that's an interesting like detail that I'm not sure I had heard before.
Yeah, the reason why I bring it up, I think it's relevant in like the end results of the case, but keeping in mind that she is only like 17 and stuff, and quite small. But another reason is it's brought up is that she actually wore blue tinted contact lenses that kept her right eye that she was blind in from like wandering, and it was able to keep them looking the same. And this actually kind of gave her like a signature look. So in cute angry cats.
I thought you said cute angry cats.
No,
I was like, they do sound
cats.
cute from here.
Oh yeah, hi Bailey. No. So this gave her like her kind of, I'd call it like a signature look. So in the pictures, I think the first picture you can't really see it, but in the other ones, when she's a bit older, you can kind of see it. She has super blue eyes, like they're like ocean blue, these tinted contact lenses she wore.
Yeah, they do look pretty blue in some of the pictures, like they stand out.
So as she kind of got older and went through school, so she was interested in becoming like a cosmetologist, as well as a model when she got older, or even a nurse. So she had a few different things that she was interested in doing. And she was also a really good soccer player. Her mother said, quote, she was full of life, and Britney's heart was soccer. She was small, but boy, she could run fast at lightning speed right down the field.
Wow. And even after like she had her surgery, because that'd be hard without your depth perception.
Very true. I didn't even think of that. I'm not sure what age she had these surgeries.
Because you remember the coordinator we used to work with was blind in one eye. That made it hard for her to drive. Jen Green.
I don't think I knew that.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I'll be like, that would be hard to get your driver's license and shit. Like, just an extra hurdle she's got to kind of jump through.
Yeah. So when Britney was 17, her mom, Dawn, and Chad actually were going through the middle of a divorce. And they had actually separated about the year before, so when she was about 16. And because of this kind of separation and then this divorce, she had kind of increasingly become depressed over months. They say she had always sort of battled depression, but it was becoming like more prevalent at the time. And that a lot of times she just wanted out of the house. But because of this, her kind of grades started to slip, and then her love and interest in soccer was also kind of taking a back seat.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah. So she was still
going through it, as they say.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, her mom and Chad, she probably viewed Chad more as like a dad than her real dad, considering her real, like her biological dad left when she was an infant.
Yeah, and like if you're old enough to remember the divorce, it's usually pretty hard on you.
Yeah.
Even as much as I'm sure they try to make sure it's not.
Yeah. So she was still living with her mom, Dawn, but she was still in close contact with Chad, but she wasn't living with him. I don't know if she was like staying with him ever, or what any sort of arrangement with that might have been. But at about the same time as her grades were starting to slip, she did start hanging out with some older girls. I don't know specifically how they met. One was Alanna. Dun, dun, dun.
Oh. How many
And
N's does she spell it with?
so I've seen it spelled the same way as yours, and I've also seen Allana.
Okay, yeah, mine's one
Yeah.
L, two N's, right? That's
Yeah,
the
I've seen it
opposite.
spelled both ways in different sources,
Oh,
so I'm not
well,
sure.
people do tend to fuck it up.
Yeah.
That's
And
funny.
then another girl named Jennifer. One was 18 and one was 20. So keeping in mind
Okay.
that Britney is 17.
Mhm.
So these other two girls were like really into partying and drugs. From sources I
Well,
saw, yeah.
partying, sure. Drugs
Uh,
depends which one.
Yeah, from sources I saw, I didn't really run across this, but from the one podcast, Morbid, that did like a huge episode about this, their thing, and then on their Reddit, which I looked through to go through kind of like these like crazy conspiracy shit that people had.
Hmm.
They say, and I couldn't find anything else that backed this up, so I don't know where they got this information from. I also didn't listen to their episode. I tried listening to parts of it and then kind of just got annoyed. So sorry.
I
They
wouldn't
say
be.
that, yeah. They say that Alanna and Jennifer actually didn't even like Britney,
Oh.
and that they were kind of using her, but I don't know why that would have been the case. But they asked her to travel with them
Hmm.
to a place called Myrtle Beach, and they were going to be
That did
staying in.
happen for
Yeah.
sure. Oh, okay. Well, I was just gonna say,
Um,
yeah, I don't trust everything I hear about from podcasts that I seem to
yeah.
have some bit of a murky reputation. That's
Yeah.
all I'll say about that. But that's
So they were,
interesting,
yeah, they were wanting to travel to Myrtle Beach, which is in South Carolina.
right?
Um, so not Florida, even though the pictures of it make it kind of look like it's from Florida, but it's South
Well,
Carolina.
it's same coast, right? So it's very
Yeah.
similar. I think I haven't been.
So the area Myrtle Beach, I guess, and according to one person on like the morbid like Reddit thread that I went through, they said that they lived
Yeah.
on Myrtle, like near Myrtle Beach for uh either Myrtle Beach or somewhere else, and they lived there for a couple years. And in the couple years, it was a really bad area, and they were like attempted abductions against them were like 3 times in like 2 years. So
Oh, the
it's
poster
not,
said that, the commenter.
yeah. So it's
Wow.
not a good area that these girls are planning to travel to. It's a really bad
Yeesh.
area. It's a party town. It's a whole bunch of hotels along like the coastline and the beach there. It's known as like a party, like kind of strip. It's like a street. And
For
they
sure.
wanted to go there for spring break.
Mm-hmm.
So Brittany ends up asking her mom if she can go with these girls and asks if her boyfriend, John, can go with them. And her mom ends up saying no, that like she doesn't know these girls and that they're older and she doesn't want
Yeah.
Brittany to go. And it's also out of the state because they're in New York.
Oh,
So
right. They're in New York. Okay.
yeah, so this would
Yeah, I
be
was
a
just gonna
trip out of
say.
state for your 17-year-old daughter to be taking with like random people.
Yeah, her first trip probably without you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So apparently they got in huge fights about this, and Brittany apparently needed like time to cool off, and then asked if she could spend spring break at a friend's house, or like with friends and their family at Lake Ontario instead. And her mother ended up agreeing to this and said that she could go to Lake Ontario.
Oh, okay. A little bit
Yeah,
closer,
yeah.
I guess. Yeah.
So on April
Hmm.
22nd of 2009, she packs her bag and ends up leaving home. But instead of going to Lake Ontario, she travels to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina for spring break with what my thing said was 3 friends. Some sources say her boyfriend went with them. From
Mm,
what I could later figure out it was these two girls, Alanna and Jennifer, that she went with, and her boyfriend decided to stay at home. So he
Damn.
wasn't there.
So now not only is she doing exactly what mom didn't want, mom
Now
thinks she's safe.
Yeah.
And I mean,
So
it could turn out
yeah.
okay, but obviously it doesn't,
No.
or we wouldn't be here. So I'm like,
Yeah.
oh no. That
So
sucks.
Britney
could
spoke to her
Happen
mom.
to anybody.
Yeah. Britney spoke to her mom a couple times on the phone while she was in South Carolina, including on April 23rd. So she left on the 22nd. So this is the next day. And at the time, her mom was not aware that she was not at her friend's house. And it's reported that Britney's last words to her mom were, quote, "I'll see you later and I love you."
I mean, that's good. I'm glad they weren't fighting,
Yeah.
But it's sad.
So the day after that, so this is 2 days into the trip, it's reported that Britney went out clubbing with, I believe, it said that she went out clubbing with her friend named Peter Brozowitz. I believe Alanna and Jennifer went with her because there's actually pictures of them. If you go through the drive, there's like a group picture of them from that night. There's also pictures of Myrtle Beach. Her boyfriend, John Greco, with his very upkept eyebrows. I'm quite surprised.
Yeah, they're very well manicured. He's just gotten done, it looks like.
This is when he's older. That's obviously not when he's like 17, but
okay, I see pictures of the girls.
Yeah, severely tanned. They're so tan, all of them.
It's so early 2000s. Yeah. Okay.
So hold on, I forgot where. Okay, so she's out with Peter Brozowitz, and I believe Alanna and Jennifer there too because of these pictures. So they, Britney actually knew Peter Brozowitz. He was a 20-year-old nightclub promoter, and they knew him from Rochester. So they actually, she actually knew him for a couple years, and they met back up here at Myrtle Beach, and they ended up partying with some of his friends in a club that I believe was called Kryptonite or something.
I have some fun bar names in mind too. But he's he's pretty cute, the Peter guy. I'm looking at the picture and I'm like, okay, he has nice natural eyebrows and nice hair and a great smile.
Yeah, he's not too bad.
Oh, sorry.
I feel like this is an older picture of him because in this story he's 20, and I don't think he looks 20 in that picture.
Okay, yeah, maybe. We'll definitely post pictures of all of this. And we'll probably have to post a picture of Gordo too, because now we've talked about him and people are gonna be like, what does he look like?
Yeah, he's currently sitting at my feet and Bailey's on the other couch staring at him, giving him the stink eye.
Yeah, now he's sitting with mom.
Yeah. So 2 days into I guess 3 days into the trip, it had been going well. So this is the next day on April 25th.
Okay.
I don't really know what they were doing during the day. According to the Morbid podcast, there was something about Britney was leaving a place called the Bar Harbor Hotel. And this is reportedly where that Peter Brozowitz, the nightclub promoter, was staying. So she went to go visit him at his room for some reason. And she gets a text or something from either Alanna or Jennifer saying that a pair of shorts or something that Britney was wearing, they wanted back. Right. So they wanted her to walk a mile back to give her shorts, and were apparently in a huge fight about it. It's very 17-year-old girls fighting about shorts. So stupid. Yeah.
It's what are we watching, a TV show or?
Yeah.
Oh, silly.
So Britney is making this walk back from Peter Brozowitz hotel. So she's either walking back to like where her and the girls are staying, I believe.
Right.
So during this walk, it's like in the evening, and Brittany's texting her boyfriend, John Greco, and she suddenly stops answering like his text messages. And then just like out of nowhere. So John then texts her that if she doesn't answer him like immediately, that he's going to contact her mom and tell her where she is, and like that she lied and that she's at Myrtle Beach, because she was like texting back like immediately, back and forth, back and forth. And then suddenly it's radio silence. And then he like keeps texting her for like 15 minutes and she's never answering again.
Well, that's not a good sign. Yeah, it seems like. Well, I mean, yeah, exactly. Especially when it's not like she's driving. It's not like she's.
Yeah, she's walking.
I don't know. Yeah, and he knew that, so then I could see why he would get, really freaked out.
There's also some reports that possibly, I think during this walk, that Britney had texted him that some guy was like following her or like harassing her, and she got some other random dude on the street to pretend to be like her friend and to help walk with her like part of the way.
Wow.
But I couldn't, it was mentioned, I think, in the Reddit thing, but I couldn't find anything about that anywhere else. So I'm not sure.
Oh, okay. If it's
so
credible. Yeah. If anyone heard screaming, Pat just went, yay! So I'm guessing somebody scored a goal or something. You never know what the mic's gonna pick up.
Yeah.
People will be like, a ghost. Oh, this is all not good though. I just don't like it. She's out by herself. No. She's not with the girlfriends. They don't probably know exactly where she is.
No, like it's weird. So after about 4 or 5 hours, I believe, of not being able to reach her, John finally kind of gives in and calls Brittany's mom and tells her what happened. So keep in mind, like, John probably was fairly tight with the family. Him and Britney had been dating for about 3 years.
Oh wow.
So he's not like some random guy. So he definitely like knows Brittany's mom. So he calls her, tells her that Britney lied. She's at Myrtle Beach and she's now missing. They don't know where she is. And not only was her mom not like shocked that Britney wasn't at Myrtle Beach and that she was out of state.
Yeah.
And now she's missing and they haven't been able to contact her for a couple hours. So
your mom's worst nightmare.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. My voice went all weird.
So Dawn ends up calling Chad as well as the Rochester police back home in hopes that they would be able to contact the police in South Carolina and kind of coordinate a search to find Britney. Britney's boyfriend, John, also calls a friend of his that was a U.S. Marine who was stationed in North Carolina, 3 hours away, and asks him to drive to South Carolina to file a missing persons report at the Myrtle Beach police station.
So he must not know the other girls then, or he would have just told them to do it. I don't think
so. That's where like this is the whole thing is, because the girls, I assume, don't really know the mom. The mom doesn't really know the girls. And then this makes it seem like John doesn't really know who these girls are either.
Huh. Not great.
So, yeah. There's also reports saying that Dawn contacted somebody who she knew in South Carolina and also asked them to file a missing persons report. So I'm not sure.
Okay. And so you said Dawn, is that the mother?
Yeah, Dawn's the mom.
Sometimes I hear Dawn and I'm like, D-O-N? Is that a guy?
Oh, that's the mom's name. So the police end up taking, I guess, whoever's report, but they understand that Britney's missing and they begin their search in the morning of the 26th. And they're actually able pretty quickly to find footage of Britney. She was last seen on security footage around 8:30 p.m. on April 25th, 2009, leaving the Blue Water Resort on Ocean Boulevard. That's, I believe, where Peter was staying, that deep, like, promoter.
Okay.
And then she was seen entering at about that time and then basically leaving about 10 minutes later. Britney disappeared during the approximately 1 mile walk to another hotel. Possibly they think of her like leaving because she got a message about the shorts and was told to walk back.
Right.
But
So
from
we
what I could
assume.
gather, she was last seen wearing like a white, gray, and like something tank top and possibly these black shorts and white flip
These
flops.
very specific black shorts.
Yeah. Oh my
Give me
God.
back my fucking shorts.
Yeah.
That's
And
that's
as I
bizarre.
said, she was texting John during the whole walk between the hotels when the messages suddenly stopped at exactly 9:15.
Ugh.
So police end up questioning Peter Brozowitz and the other men who were staying at his hotel room because they were believed to be the last people that knew Britney, that saw her alive. And police did not believe them to be specifically of persons of interest. I guess based on just like their questioning and stuff. That's the police's, I guess, opinion. They also completed a search of Britney's hotel room, which left no answers, but did determine that she left the hotel without like packing any of her clothes up, and that she had only had her purse and her cell phone with her. So she didn't like run away from there or anything like that.
Right, it wouldn't seem so.
Yeah. Police discovered that her phone was last used 4 days after her disappearance on April 29th in Georgetown County, South Carolina, which is about 35 miles south of Myrtle Beach. And that is there that it is assumed that the battery of the cell phone died because it was never used or turned on again. Police searched for about 11 days in all areas nearby, George County as well as Myrtle Beach, in areas that a body might be disposed of, and they didn't find anything. In reports, they said some of Britney's friends stayed behind in Myrtle Beach. So Alanna and Jennifer, I assume, stayed behind in Myrtle Beach to help look for her for 1 day. Apparently, they stayed an extra day, 1 day, before they returned home. And it's also said that apparently during this time, like, they didn't really talk, like, I guess before the police got involved the day after, on the 26th, when it was like the 25th, I guess, Britney's mom was like trying to call these girls and they weren't answering their phones. Like, they were purposefully ignoring Britney's mom and they wouldn't talk to her. And they're like, okay, like, my daughter's missing. She was with you guys. Like, answer your phone. And they weren't, they basically did nothing. So there's a lot
that
of
does
like,
make them sound shady.
Yeah, there's a lot of shady stuff about these girls. So yeah, police continued to search, and they also followed kind of little tips that she was seen at a bus stop as well as at a convenience store. But when they looked into it, there was, I guess, no really information. They were kind of dead ends, so they may have been wrong.
Okay.
Britney's boyfriend, John Greco, said, quote, "I think somebody saw her walking and offered her a ride and she got in the car with the wrong person." So that's what John believed happened.
He thinks she would do that? Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Apparently, like, from what people were kind of saying, she was pretty naive about stuff. So she maybe thought, like, yeah. And then if it's possible, if the one person that I ran across was kind of harassing her, that maybe she would get in a ride with somebody else. But yeah.
Maybe.
So at this point, the FBI ends up joining the search, and they end up offering a $25,000 reward for any sort of information. But nothing helpful that I ran across was ever really reported. And then Britney's disappearance goes cold for about 7 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's sucky.
So this brings us to the most likely explanation for what happened. People kind of go back and forth about it, but this is what the FBI believes what happened. So in August of 2016, there was a prison inmate who was serving time for, I believe, an unrelated manslaughter charge, when he suddenly came forward with new information. And the FBI now believes that Britney was abducted, that she was gang raped, shot to death, and that her body was left in an alligator-infested swamp near McClellanville.
Oh, God. doesn't get any easier to hear that, even though that's what I heard too. It's
Yeah.
like, then that would explain why there would be no body found. God, it's just terrible.
So the inmate Taquan Brown of Walterboro told police he went to a stash house or a drug house near McClellanville, about 50 miles from Myrtle Beach, on April 27th, so 2 days after Britney went missing, and says that he saw a man named Timothy Desean Taylor, who was 16 at the time, sexually abusing Britney, and that she had a black eye. He says, quote, like 8 to 12 guys were in there and they were having sex with her. He says he kept walking through the house and then went into the backyard to give Desean Taylor's father, who was a local drug dealer, some money. And he says that while him and Desean's father were talking in the backyard, he saw Britney escape from the house and like run. And that she was then, and that she was caught and reportedly pistol whipped and then pistol whipped with the gun and then carried back inside. A few minutes later, he says he heard 2 gunshots and then witnessed something rolled up either in a carpet or something else, and that was being carried from the house, and he assumed it was Britney.
Jesus, sounds like they didn't even give a shit if he saw any of this.
Yeah. Police were able to get sort of a corroboration for some of the details from another informant who was also, I believe, a jail informant. That's why people go back and forth about this, because this guy only brought this up when he was about to be like sentenced to prison for like the manslaughter. He's like, well, if I give you guys information about something else, will you lessen my charge? And then he like pulled this out.
Yeah, I mean, it happens. I don't think it necessarily means it's not credible, but it does make people question it. I think it's a little bit better than like when somebody's been sitting in jail for a long time and they're so bored and they start confessing to something that they like, you know what I mean? Someone who's never going to get out, they just start being like, oh yeah, I did this or I know that, and they just want attention.
So Brown also says that, the other informant, who I don't know the name of, also says that Britney was in the house and the 2 of them were able to confirm descriptions of the house and like the area. The police believe that Desean Taylor intended to force Britney into some sort of sex work, but due to the media attention her disappearance had caused over the 2 days, he decided to kill her instead. And the police believe that Britney was held for about 4 days before being killed.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's awful.
The FBI released the following statement. Several witnesses have told us Miss Drexel's body was placed in a pit or a gator pit to have her body disposed of, eaten by the gators. It's like the worst statement I've ever heard.
That's just awful. All of it. Ugh.
So police completed multiple searches of these areas and these like gator pits or whatever around Myrtle Beach and McClellanville, an area that is actually like a really densely forested area that's outside of Georgetown city limits, where her like cell phone last pinged. So they know she was in that area, or at least her cell phone was, 4 days after, because that's when it was last used on the 29th. But her body has never actually been located. There's also been no like specific evidence discovered that's able to confirm what Brown and this other reported eyewitness say happened. Taylor, the man there, Desean Taylor maintains his innocence and says that he doesn't know Brown or Britney. He only ever saw her like on TV and the internet when she went missing. And that at the time of her disappearance, he was 16. He didn't even have a driver's license, and that he was probably in school.
Probably in school. That's all I ever did back then. Went to school, never did anything bad.
Never.
Interesting. Well, just because you're 16 doesn't mean you can't be capable of horrible things. I don't like that. It's like,
no.
It's like they can't pin it on him, yet he could be him. No answers.
So what I could get, it's kind of confusing, but it sounds like he's serving prison time for a robbery case, where he was the getaway driver during an armed robbery of a McDonald's where an employee was shot.
Okay, so definitely not keeping his nose clean.
Yeah, so he's still, it sounds like based on like him being like tied to the Britney's disappearance now, he was given like 18 months probation for this McDonald's robbery. And then when they found out he was like possibly involved in Britney's disappearance, they basically, how they say you can't be charged with the same crime twice, they basically did. So the state like sentenced him to 18 months probation, I think, and then like the federal system then went back and sentenced him to like 20 years for the same crime after his 18 months probation was up. So that's kind of sketchy.
20 years.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I'm not sure what legal loophole that is.
Yeah, I tried to look into it, but it was very confusing.
Yeah.
But he's never been charged in relation specifically to Britney's disappearance, because there's no like physical evidence that ties him to it. But I did want to mention he failed a polygraph in 2011 when he was asked about her disappearance and if he knew anything about it or was involved.
I mean, not great, but also those things aren't great either.
Yeah, they're basically disproven now.
So easy to like fake or fool them. Yeah.
So basically everybody, it sounds like, has appeared at some point on Dr. Phil.
Oh God. Exactly, Dr. Phil.
Yeah. So while appearing on Dr. Phil, like I guess Desean has been on there. He's been interviewed, but Britney's mother, Dawn, as well as the nightclub promoter, Peter Brozowitz, also had multiple heated exchanges when they were on Dr. Phil, because Dawn has a different theory about what happened than what the FBI believes. She believes that Dawn drove to Myrtle Beach, or Dawn, sorry. I jumped ahead. Oh, sorry. So she believes something else happened. Dawn herself actually drove to Myrtle Beach the day after Britney's disappearance, and then shortly after that, like permanently moved there, so that she could keep an eye on the case and be where Britney was last seen. And she believes that her daughter had gone specifically to Myrtle Beach at the same time as Brozowitz because she was promised something. She believes that it was possibly a modeling job because Brozowitz was a club promoter, and that he may have offered her a modeling job if she met him there, or that it may have been arranged. Oh my God, Gordo, just jumped on my lap.
There's the cat. Here's the second cat appearance.
Here's a cat. Look how big he is. Oh, he's so big.
Oh, he's such a cutie. Good Lord.
Go now.
It was my pet inserting himself every few minutes a couple episodes ago.
Yeah.
Oh,
just Lord. I wasn't expecting. I didn't even know he was down there. Just the cat. Okay.
Oh my God.
Or she believes that the this like possible modeling job or something may have been arranged by like Alanna and Jennifer that she was with, and that's why they like quote unquote targeted Britney, because some reports say that they didn't even like Britney. So why would you invite somebody you don't like to go out of state with you for spring break if you don't even like this person?
If that's the case, then why? Yeah. Okay. Interesting, but it doesn't seem to like have a lot of proof to it. Evidence,
At that point, she believes that Britney was then like abducted and forced into some sort of sex work. I
mean, that's the same
know.
motive.
Yeah.
Essentially, as the other one, like they were gonna put her into sex work.
Yeah. So Brozowitz, who like Peter Brozowitz, is quite angry. He believes his reputation has been damaged due to these allegations. Whatever, dude.
Cry me a
somebody's
river.
missing. Yeah, somebody's missing.
Yeah.
I did want to say in one source, I can't remember what it was, but I copied like the next section verbatim because this like super confused me. Because there's a 2019 interview that hold on, what's his name? I don't remember his first name now. Brown. Oh, Taquan Brown, who's the informant that told the
Taquan.
FBI.
Sorry.
Yeah. He gave a 2009 interview over the telephone with Rochester station WHEC TV that, from what I could figure out, is like a totally different statement, but what the write-up said matches everything he told the FBI in like 2016. So that's what this is basically like quoted exactly as I found it. He says that he had 4 encounters with Britney, and this is like basically the same thing, but a totally different timeline than what he said earlier, and that's why I got super confused about this. He says his first encounter with Britney was on April 27th. As he said before, this was 2 days after her disappearance at the McClellanville stash house, where he says he saw her being sexually assaulted by a group of 8 to 12 young men. He says he didn't recognize her at the time, but realized who she was a month later when publicity arose surrounding the case. He says his second encounter with Britney came a few days later, when like in the first statement, it made it sound like it was all the same night. Now this is a few days later, and that this was the event that he had described to the FBI with the gunshots inside the building and the body being carried out on a rug. Brown's third encounter 5 days later occurred when he saw Drexel on a lightly traveled dirt road near his cousin's residence in Jacksonboro, 80 miles south of McClellanville. And
okay,
Brown,
yeah, that's different.
yeah, Brown claimed to have seen Drexel for the last time in late May, so almost a month after she disappeared, once again at his cousin's residence while visiting with another friend. In a wooded area at the rear of the property, Brown claimed to have witnessed Drexel being murdered by a man whom Brown only knew as Nate, who shot her twice with a double-barreled shotgun. And now he says Brown and his friend left immediately, fearing being considered as accomplices if they had remained. So that sounds like a totally different statement to me. The other one sounded like it was one evening and like over the course of like half an hour or an hour. Now this is over the course of a month.
And that she was alive after a month.
Yeah. So
interesting,
this is like
but like I don't know, because memories are shitty too. People have shitty memories, you know what I mean? But it's like, oh, I don't know.
So
Weird.
the WHEC, the phone interview he was doing, they were able to corroborate some of this account. His descriptions of the McClellanville stash house again matched the station's own reporting from a 2016 visit. And then they say his account of the second visit, when he believed Britney had been shot, is consistent with his original story as told to the FBI. I don't believe that, because he said she was shot inside the house, and now he's saying he witnessed her being shot with a double-barreled shotgun and all this stuff, when last time it was inside the house.
Right, which would seem like now you're giving more details, but why?
Right. The station was unable to locate the friend whom Brown, he was said, accompanied him and the last time he saw her, and the cousin who owned the property where he says Britney was killed is now dead, and another witness who Brown had named could not be found, so they can't back up any of this.
Right.
Brown himself filed a lawsuit against federal officials who say they identified him publicly and played a role in causing him to have a reputation as a snitch and put his life in danger. He says that Desean Taylor, who he's accusing of murdering Britney, actually put a $15,000 hit on him, saying that anyone that kills Brown would get this $15,000, and that this has caused Brown to be assaulted at least once.
God, but like he would have had to have known that there would have been some sort of retaliation.
Yeah,
When he-
you gave me a
when he said
reputation
these
as being a
things.
snitch
Yeah.
for being a snitch.
Like if if it's true, then that's what you're doing, but you don't have any evidence. So then now it's just gone nowhere, which is
Yeah.
if it's true, it's good that he did the right thing telling the truth, but it's like it sucks
Yeah.
because it didn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
Really.
So my last little bit, this is kind of the stuff that like Reddit brought up.
It sounded like you said bread it.
No, Reddit.
I want bread it. Okay.
So the people on Reddit like really have it in for these two girls that Britney was traveling with. They do not like Alanna and Jennifer.
Oh, no. I mean, they don't sound all that wonderful of friends, but you didn't get a whole lot about them either.
Yeah, this like I couldn't find anything to back these up. And again, I didn't listen to the podcast episode that Morbid did that they are talking about, I guess, this evidence. They say that Alanna and Jennifer know more than they say, and that they may be involved with her disappearance. Some believe that they targeted Britney, who is younger than them, like for specific reasons, and report, like according to these people on Reddit, there's reports saying during the trip that Britney actually only had about $100 on her, and that these two girls were supporting her during the trip, like paying for everything. And that why would you do this with like a girl you don't even like? And why would you invite her to go out of state with you on spring break and then pay her whole way?
Right. Seems unlikely.
Yeah. So they believe that these girls were kind of acting as recruiters, and that they lured Britney there, probably, I assume, based on like her looks, in order to sell her into sex work, whether they had arranged that or whether that was like arranged through Peter Prozowitz or somebody else.
I wonder if they're basing that off like just because they called to get her to come back to the hotel. Then it's like, okay, she'll be walking along this road.
Yeah.
And so you guys will be like following her.
That's what they're saying. They're like, why would you call her and make her bring back your shorts? And it's like, fuck, they're 20-year-old girls. You didn't call somebody and be like, why are you wearing my shorts? Like, bring me back my shorts. Like,
I mean, it can happen. It's not out of the realm of possibility. I mean, I think you're a little bit of a bitch, but
yeah. So, according to Reddit, they believe this to be consistent with questioning why would you invite this girl you don't like on your trip and then pay her away, as well as the fact that they say reportedly since like Britney's disappearance, they've had no compassion or sympathy for her mother, Dawn. They haven't tried to help in any way. They didn't really try and help the search, and that they weren't answering any phone calls when she was trying to get them initially to look for Britney.
I mean, it's like, okay, that's one side of it, but like if the cops didn't subpoena them to talk about it, well then they obviously didn't think that they would have known anything more. I don't know. It's like it just sounds like we're getting one side of it almost, so it's hard to say.
And then just the last thing is that obviously her disappearance and everything, her body's never been found, so they don't really know what's happened, so everything is basically just unsolved at this point. And
oh wow. So has she not even been declared dead? Do you know?
I don't know.
And it happened in 2008?
2009 she went missing.
Oh wow. It's still over 10 years.
So yeah, it's almost been 13. Yeah, almost been 13 years.
Shit. That is so sad.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking. I hope like something comes out soon where like people are able to get closure, and like find out what happened and whether or not like the informant's right and this like Taylor guy's involved or not. I just hopefully someday it gets figured out so that people can have some sort of closure.
Yeah, her family,
about
her
it.
boyfriend.
Yeah. Like,
And it's like, if what was I gonna say? Even if the informants either variation isn't true,
yeah.
somebody's got to know something somewhere. Like there's not just going to
Yeah.
be one person involved in it or seen it, or
Yeah.
somebody knows something.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Because, like, it doesn't seem like she would have run away or anything like that, even. So,
Yeah. Damn.
yeah.
The poor
Yeah.
mama.
Yeah. It's heartbreaking, really. Like,
Yeah.
the mom, like, it's your worst nightmare. You say no to your kid, you can't go with these girls, and some reports even said that her mom said no because she had a bad feeling, and then some things even went as far as to say that her mom had some sort of premonition that something bad was going to happen to Britney if she went, and that's why she said she couldn't go.
Or just as a
So,
mom, you're just always considering all the possible complications.
I would never let my kid, like, if I had a kid, I would never let a 17-year-old go out with two girls that I don't know, that are 18 and 20, like, out of state for spring break, like,
It doesn't
that you
say
barely know.
Yeah. Sounds like a little bit of a recipe for disaster, for sure. You're like,
Yeah.
well, maybe we could do this on a more supervised type of trip, or like, it's just
Yeah.
those places where lots of tourists go all the time are really good
Mhm.
for criminals to be like, let me pick some victims. You're probably not even from here, and like, be
Yeah.
harder to figure out who did this. It's like, it was
Yeah.
Dexter. He's only in Miami, right? He was only in
Yeah.
he was only in Florida.
Well,
so.
I mean, only if these people had killed somebody before with Dexter.
Ugh. Yeah, it doesn't seem like Dexter's MO on second thought.
Yeah, no.
But
yeah.
we don't know. Yeah. Damn.
Yeah.
I hate it. Thanks. I hate it.
Yeah, you're welcome. I also hate it. But we'll take a quick break, and then we'll be right back for another case.
Bum, bum, bum. Good job.
Thanks.
We're back. Hi.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. There are two of us, and probably still two cats, but none on your lap right now that I can see.
No, Bailey is on the love seat on the top of it asleep, and Gordo was sleeping on her bed a few minutes ago. I don't know where he went now. But all is quiet. They're chilling, which I greatly appreciate right now.
Yay, chill cats.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I have a fun fact here. We haven't done that in, I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Maybe an episode.
A while.
I forget things. Did you know the word podcast is a portmanteau? Obviously, I didn't practice that word, but podcast is a portmanteau, a combination of iPod and broadcast.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, it's super associated with iPod, I guess, because it's just the two parts podcast.
I'm like, iPods aren't even a thing anymore. I'm like,
right?
wow.
And it said, or Wikipedia said, the term podcasting was first suggested by the Guardian columnist and BBC journalist Ben Hammersley, who invented it in early February 2004 while writing an article for the Guardian newspaper.
2004.
I think he tried out a few little ones. Maybe I should, like, I remember the original thing I was reading it in. He had a few things. He was like, what should we call it? This? And then it just like caught on.
Yeah.
There you go. That's what
I was trying to explain to I think one of the teenagers I work with, that
yeah.
I was like, yeah, when I was in like middle school, and then even when I was in high school, actually, no, kind of finished in high school. But like when I was in middle school, I was like, yeah, everybody had a phone. Like iPhones were a thing. You had an iPhone, but it was very basic and you couldn't put music on it yet. So you also had an iPod that looked the exact same as your iPhone, but probably with a different case. And you had to carry both of them. And they were looking at me like I was crazy.
Oh my god, they didn't know.
I was like, yeah, it was touchscreen and everything still, but like I remember girls would be like, they'd have their iPod and their iPhone, and it'd be like, okay, they're both exactly the same. Like,
oh my god, I could never get into like Pat got me an iPod Mini one year,
okay,
and other than like having one crappy MP3 player, not sure of the
Yeah.
brand at one point,
Yeah.
which is essentially the same as the iPod. It's
Yeah.
just like I never could get into the fact that I'm like, you have to then still pay for each song. It's like,
Oh, see, I never did. I've always downloaded my music, like, so it's always open for you.
oh, I was not tech savvy enough, but also this was a few years. Like you had an iPod,
Yeah,
but you
it'd be a
probably wouldn't
few
have ever
years,
had just an MP3 player. MP3 player would have been the
Yeah, I did.
precursor, I would say, to the iPod.
I had an
Ugh.
MP3 up until
Oh, really?
probably, I know I had an MP3 player when I was in 2005 and 6, so probably like
Okay.
2007 as well. And then I probably got my
Yeah.
I never had like the one, I had the iPod Nano, the long skinny one that had like the sort of one. I had that one, I think probably starting in like 2008.
They had stupid
Until I was in
commercials
high school,
too.
really.
Oh, sorry. What's
Yeah.
that?
Until I was in high school, really. Like I remember making a sticker for it when I was in high school for the back of my iPod.
Damn it. I was reminded online at some point, because I'll read those stupid lists on like BuzzFeed and stuff that are like throwback to this era, like 90s, or you'll remember this or whatever. And it was like, remember those iPod commercials? It's just like outlines of people and they're like jamming out, and they have like, they're all wearing like everything is all wires. It's before all the wireless earbuds and all that. So it's just like, they're all like, yeah. And you're like, yeah, but you get all tangled up if you're gonna like dance around.
Yeah.
But it's better than like trying to run with like a Discman and then it's skipping, because it's literally the disc is like moving down.
Yes. I remember going in, what would it have been? 5? Definitely before I got my MP3 player. I remember taking my Walkman to school with like my 3 CDs that were like, that's what I was going to listen to that day. These 3 CDs.
You gotta have a CD holder.
In my little thing. Yep.
Sometimes you get the in-car ones that go on your little visor thing. Oh my god.
My dad's was all Van Morrison and like everything. So every road trip I'm ever on, I'm like, I want to listen to Van Morrison right now.
He had like 6 in his 6 CD changer.
Oh yeah, I had a stereo that fit, I think, 3 or 4 discs in it. I felt like the coolest kid.
I don't need to carry big stereos around on our shoulder.
Yeah, boom box.
Small now.
Yeah,
that's too funny. Well, this has been retro rad. No.
Did you know, since you brought up the dancing iPod commercials, did you know that I can't remember his name right now. I'm sorry.
Steve Jobs?
No, the guy that played Magnus Bane on the Shadowhunters, the Netflix one. Did you know he was one of the dancing silhouettes in one of the iPod commercials?
Oh no.
Yeah, he did. He was one of the dancing silhouettes. I can't remember which one.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
I think I remember that one of the guys that played Magnus Bane died, though.
Yeah, the guy that was in the movie.
That's not so fun.
No, that was recently. That was a couple months ago, wasn't it?
I remember I was shocked to read it. Yeah, it wasn't that long ago. And I just thought, what? Everybody in the movie is like fairly young. That was like pretty shocking.
Mm-hmm.
Movie news.
Yeah.
Okay, fun facts. Well, maybe we'll figure out where to put those ones. Maybe next time I could save them at the end, and then everyone that does true crime, we always have to end on a sad note.
Yeah, we can do fun facts.
I'll
What
try.
did you watch this week? I've just been binge watching The Staircase. That's stupid because have you ever seen it?
Yeah, I can't stand that fucking guy. He's so pretentious and punchable.
I haven't finished it. Yeah, I haven't finished it, but I'm sitting here going the entire time, I don't know how to feel.
Yeah. His kids obviously love him.
Looking at everything, if it didn't have like that much blood, if it literally wasn't that much blood like spatter involved.
From where his wife supposedly fell down the staircase after an owl distracted her.
Yeah, well, they haven't even gotten to the apple stuff yet. I didn't realize this thing was like.
Assumed you heard of that.
No, yeah, but I'm sitting here going, I thought this thing was like 6 hours long, and it's like 14. And what did I sign up for this? Yeah, and I don't know.
Gotta watch hours of that smarmy bastard. I don't know. It's hard because I can't remember how it ends. I don't know. It's one of those, but there's some crazy cases like that where they could just seem one way, and then you're like, actually, no, it is possible that they're telling the truth or whatever.
Yeah, I just keep flip-flopping at the moment. I haven't watched all of it, but I don't know. I keep flip-flopping and being like, yeah, I could believe he didn't do it, but I don't know. I'll have to wait until the end to make my decision.
Some people do on their Patreons like a not a watch along, more of a like they'll watch a documentary kind of together and then do a review of each kind of episode, like a recap, like a discussion.
14 episodes. That one's too long.
Probably not one that long.
No,
but it's something to think about if people are interested in it. I like watching shit on Netflix and talking about it.
Yeah, because you can do those Netflix watch along things now. Like the beginning of COVID, they set it up that you can like synchronize watching something with more than one person at Netflix. Like through Netflix, yeah. And if like I don't know how to do it, we'd have to look it up. But if one of you even like pauses it or something, I think it like pauses the other person. So you're always watching at the same time, and it has like a little chat thing on the side. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you'd be like, I have to pee.
Yeah.
Let's pause. That's interesting. I haven't heard of that.
Yeah, I think they did it at the beginning of COVID. I remember hearing something about it. Anyway, we'll get to your case. Innovating. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff on Netflix, though.
And now, a case about Netflix. No. All right. This is the story of Mark Kilroy.
Yes.
The death of. Spoiler.
I know this one's crazy because I saw like
it did come up on the first page of Google. It must be. No. What's that?
Well, there was a couple little like snippets I read when I was trying to look for cases, and yeah.
Oof. Yeah, it's pretty gnarly. But I was like, it's interesting. You got to do the crazy ones.
Yeah, I know I know all the headlines for the episodes. There was like people talking about it on podcasts. It was like the bizarre death, the strange death, the wild. And I was like, ooh, all those words.
Oh yeah, we still have to think of a title for this one. Or do we? Well, spring break crimes.
It's spring break, baby.
Spring break your bones. Oh my God. Okay.
Spring breakdown.
Spring burp. Now I started drinking something carbonated. Now here we go. First I drank tea, so then it'll be like, who knows, when you drink a big thing of tea or coffee or whatever. That I don't like coffee, but then you have to pee like every 5 minutes, or you drink beer or something.
Yeah.
Like you have to pee out twice the amount you ingest. All right. So Mark Kilroy was a March baby, born on March 5th, 1968. and he was a University of Texas student. I don't have any pictures, but they're easy enough to find if you're interested. He looks like a nice, he was described as handsome, and I think he was. You definitely see, I think he's got like kind of a mullety, a little bit of 70s hairstyle in the pictures.
Okay.
For
That's
most
fair.
of the articles. Yeah. A little bit of a mullet, but like nice smile, good looking lad. He was athletic. He was a pre-med student. So
Wow.
twerk no dummy.
Smart.
Yeah. All around sound like a good guy. And he loved to play basketball with his friends. So hence the athletic. And he and three of his good friends, Bill Huddleston, Bradley Moore, and Brent Martin. Wow, all the rest of them start with B. Just noticed that. But the two of them have the same initials. Weird. They decided to head over the border to Mexico. They live in Texas, to let loose on spring break in March of 1989. Probably around the 11th. The dates were a little bit like unclear for some reason.
Yeah.
People could never get dates. But when you're going for like a week of partying, I mean, you're probably not even paying that much attention to what day it is.
No.
So they had all known each other since high school in Santa Fe, Texas. Yes, there's apparently a Santa Fe in Texas. I had to double check. I was like, what? I thought that was just in New Mexico. And I quote, and I quoted this article a lot that was in the Rolling Stone. You know what? I should look up the author because I do quote it a lot, I find. Hold, please. Yes, it's definitely a mullet. Oh, it's mullet-tastic. Okay. All right. As I was saying, this is a quote from a Rolling Stone article by Guy Garcia.
Thanks, Guy.
Thanks, Guy. All right. They quote, hit the road bound for South Padre Island, a balmy stretch of sand and sea where the southern tip of the Lone Star State meets the Gulf of Mexico. It just sounds lovely.
Yeah.
Beaches. Oh, yeah. So, like your case, spring break. I guess people do try to go to warmer places and water if they can.
Yeah. Yeah, the pictures look really nice. Myrtle Beach.
Right.
Yeah.
I want to go there. Yeah, I wish I had gone to other cool places on the East Coast when I lived on the East Coast from growing up there, but
yeah.
Now it's a longer flight if we wanted to go to New York.
Oh, very true. Yeah, you can't just drive.
Yeah, there's a fucking bug. So the boys head out. The four boys, teenagers, I think. Yeah, this is 1989. He's born in 68. So yeah, he's, I can't math right now. 20-ish. The next day, they decide to stop over at another Mexican tourist hotspot. So they parked Mark's car in a border town called Brownsville on the US side, and they made their way on foot across the border to Matamoros, I think, Mexico. And Matamoros was a popular place for visitors to check out the bar scene and like grab some cheap food and margaritas. Like, it's another like strip with lots of bars and shit. It's a very happening street for tourists. It's called the Calle Alvaro Obregon. I was gonna say Obrigado. That's not it. Calle Alvaro Obregon. I'm so sorry, I haven't Spanished in a while. But you can get a Corona for $1 down there at this point in time.
Ooh.
A good deal. And before Corona was something we associated with terrible things. Poor Corona.
They should just change their name. I feel so
Oh.
bad for them.
I feel bad. There was a little girl that wrote to Tom Hanks. Her name is Corona, and she was like, "People making fun of me now." And he wrote back. He wrote her back a nice letter, being like, because he has a typewriter that's a Corona brand or something, and he was like, "It's good, and
Okay.
it's fun, and your name's beautiful, and like it means crown." So it's like, no, be proud of your name.
Yeah. Yeah, it sucks when something like that comes along and then just like ruins everything.
Yeah, it's at least your name's not COVID-19.
God, all we need is some celebrity being like Grimes and Elon Musk's third child, what we call COVID-19.
Yeah.
Jesus. No,
I can't keep up with-
SARS 2 point whatever. It's like
Yeah.
scientific name instead of COVID-19. They'll be like, oh, it'll be SARS, whatever.
Did they have a second one? I can't keep up whether they had a second one
Yeah.
or whether they broke up. I keep reading different things.
They
but
broke
not
up
really
and then they had a second
caring
one, and
enough.
then I think they got together and they broke up again or something.
Oh, geez. Okay. So even rich people are done. Okay. Can't confirm. So, blah, blah, blah. They bumped into some other students from Kansas at a hamburger joint and later met up with them at a club called Sergeant Pepper's.
Ooh, Lonely Heart Band.
Right. No word if they played the Lonely Hearts Club band. They spent the night having fun, flirting with girls and drinking before heading back to their hotel. I believe was on the US side of the border.
Okay.
Did some walking. They then hit up a party thrown by one of Mark Kilroy's frat brothers the next day before heading back to Matamoros. They again left the car in Brownsville across the border, and they hit up a club called El Sombrero. Just that.
Just sombrero.
Right. They're like white people will know what that means.
Yeah.
They'll be able to remember the name. So then they went to a place called Hard Rock. Just Hard Rock. It was changed to attract the Americans also.
Oh, yeah.
That one was, I know. Yeah. And Mark chatted there with a girl that he knew. So then that was all cool. The next day by the evening, I believe. And yeah, the timeline was just a little unclear. Like, I thought this was 2 days after, but then on Wikipedia it was saying it was the 14th. But I was like, if it was the 11th they left, that wouldn't make sense. So I apologize if dates are confusing, but they were heading back to the car in Brownsville when they noticed a Mexican man following closely behind them. They didn't think much of it. Most of the guys apparently thought that he might have known Mark when they were asked about it later. They stopped to have a pee break on the side of the road. Like one of the guys kind of ran on ahead to pee behind a tree or whatever while the other ones were waiting. But when they went to get going again, then they noticed that Mark was missing. That's all it took.
Okay.
Pee break.
Yeah.
So,
That seems strange.
I know. I'm not sure how busy this street was or road was.
Yeah.
Seemed like there's much information, but it's the rest of the case that makes it long. So it's like, okay, we know this at least happened. Did I say? Okay, yeah, they noticed Mark was missing. They checked the car to see if he went ahead, but he's not there. They also checked the hotel they had stayed at, and again, nothing. Did I say that?
No.
Okay. Fucking bug, I'll get you. That's when they knew something was terribly wrong. So Mark's parents were informed of his disappearance, and they joined the police in the search. Everybody, came down and went out looking. And they searched high and low, but found no trace of Mark. And worse, there wasn't any real leads other than this guy they saw, but they just saw that there was like a Mexican man. They didn't know anything else.
They don't know who he is.
Yeah, that's not much to go on. They did inform police that they thought they heard the Mexican man say something around the time they last saw Mark. Something like, "Didn't I just see you somewhere?" or "Where did I last see you?" something to that effect.
And Mark said that, or the guy saw that?
The guy, the Mexican man. So I don't know. It does sound like something maybe someone would say to
somebody you know.
Somebody you know, or if you were just trying to get someone's attention that you don't know to then abduct them. It's just an innocuous opening line, I guess. Pretend you see them. The parents did everything they could to try and find Mark, including offering a $15,000 reward for info. They end up passing out like 20,000 leaflets to get the word out also. So yeah, it's shitty. That's like your case too with the mom.
Yeah.
She moved down there. Oh, that's crazy and sad. But after a while, it kind of comes to a cold case, a dead end. Like the investigation is kind of stumped. But meanwhile, they're about a month after Mark's disappearance, the US and Mexican authorities ramped up some of their anti-drug efforts. And in early April, Elio Hernandez Garcia, 22 years old, was arrested for marijuana possession during a routine roadblock. Oh, man.
Yeah.
And Hernandez Garcia ended up telling police that his family had a grow up on the family farm, Santa Elena Ranch, just outside of Brownsville. He also identified several drug dealers. I don't know if within the family or what. It just seems like he was snitching.
Yeah, he's naming names.
Oh, yeah. And there was one source who said that it was a different person's arrest that led to the discovery of the farm, somebody named Serafin Hernandez Garcia, but there was only one source that said that. Pardon me. Multiple sources.
Oh, okay.
Elio Hernandez Garcia. I don't know. I think the whole
maybe a street name or something,
or a different member of the family. It's like it doesn't really matter. It's not either way. They found it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So on April 11th, they entered the Santa Elena Ranch property, and they did indeed find 75 pounds of marijuana.
Whew.
A lot. I'm sure that's worth a shit ton. And they asked,
was it good stuff or was it shit stuff? Where does the good stuff come out of? Is that from Mexico, or that's the not great stuff?
Well, they have a good enough climate. I'm sure they can grow decent shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the way you can grow it almost anywhere now.
I just think about when they talk about like the like processing and like treatments to like a lot of that stuff sometimes, and I'm just like, oh, remember watching videos of them like pouring battery acid on shit and stuff. Yeah.
So
and it's like, no.
You know, I listened to a really interesting thing. It was on Audible, which I just got a free trial for, because I thought I was downloading that book I read for the last, or was it the last case, the Panama Girls case?
Yeah.
But it wasn't. It was another book called Lost in the Jungle about a different person. Different subtitle of the book. But whatever. I'm like, fine, I'll see if there's anything good on Audible. So I end up listening to this like 8-episode like thing that was hosted by this Canadian actor, Jay Baruchel. He's like,
yes,
Hiccup in How to Train Your Dragon and stuff. And
is it good?
Yeah, it was called Highly Legal, and it was all about the legalization process in Canada and like how it all went and how it, you know, did it work well? Did it, you know, not work well? Because we were like the only like first ones to do it after the only one other country, which was Uruguay or whatever.
Yeah.
So it was like we were the first like Western, I don't know,
country,
North America.
As like a whole country to do it. Yeah.
Yeah. Like anyway, yeah, it was interesting. Yeah. I highly recommend.
Yeah, I always see the ads. I always get that ad on YouTube. For some reason, it's always him just sitting on a couch, and he's on the other end of the couch, and then him in different clothes is on the other end of the couch, and then It's like, I can't
Oh.
remember what the whole thing is. It's like him, he's like, I'm in a conversation with myself. And the guy goes, "There's people," something about like, do people really want to listen to you talk? And he's like, I don't know. Like all this
Oh
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do. He's great. And then they have like voice clips of other people talking, like cops and like growers. And they were like,
Yeah.
oh, who haven't we talked to yet? An actual good old
Seth
drug
Rogen.
dealer.
No.
What?
Seth Rogen.
Yeah. We
Snoop
talked
Dogg.
about him. Yeah. Anyway, it was interesting. Okay. But I digress.
Yeah.
We're about to get to the shitty stuff. So they asked farm staff if they had seen Mark Kilroy, to which one farmhand nodded and pointed to a corral and shack on the property. So inside, they found what appeared to be 12 bodies that were in various states of torture and dismemberment.
Jeez.
About to get a little graphic. Some were burned, some had been shot or stabbed. One had been hanged, and several had had their hearts torn out or their eyes and or testicles.
Mm.
Don't like that. And a quote from the Rolling Stones article: scattered about the room were coconut shells, cigars, and cane liquor, an iron bed frame, heavy electrician's tape, a blood-caked machete, and a hammer.
Wow.
One did indeed belong to Mark Kilroy. Oh,
Was it like ritualistic things? Were they doing like
yes.
Oh, okay. I listened to a Crimes and Consequences episode recently, and they did like this crazy group. Oh, I can't remember where it was.
Oh,
And
maybe
it was
this
like
will
in
ring
a,
some bells.
yeah, it was like a party town kind of thing, and they were targeting like a bunch of tourists and stuff too.
Oh yeah, that
Yeah.
sounds similar. This is
Yeah,
okay.
and it was like
Yeah.
crazy shit. Like they like found like a fucking cauldron of like just body parts and like stew. It was like,
Oh,
bleh.
that's probably this one then.
But I don't remember like this. This they
Oh,
would have definitely talked about if it was Mark Kilroy though, and it wasn't.
okay. Gross.
I
Then
don't
there's
think
more
so.
than one, which is not good.
I'll try and look it up. Hold on, keep going.
ugh, great. No. So yeah, this is gross and awful. He had been raped, his spine had been removed, and other parts were found nearby, which we'll get to.
No.
Once they were able to better piece together, kind of count the remains, for lack of a better word, they realized it was, they found 15 individuals in total that had been killed and buried around the barn thing in the property. And that wasn't all. There was a large symbol painted on the floor in blood. There were candles surrounding it, and a pot that was nearby had some very gruesome contents. Oh, the gruesome cauldrons. There's a lot of those coming up in my, like, we saw the one at the Haunted Museum that Ed Gein had used, his cast iron cauldron. And then somebody else on our Instagram, I was reading their post, and they had a killer with a cauldron. I use my cast iron just for bacon and stuff.
Yeah. Oh, it is. Okay. It is the same case. Yeah, Mark Kilroy. They just like headlined it as like specifically talking about the group. So they were like talking about the group, but then Mark Kilroy was like a little part of it. That's why it wasn't ringing a bell. Because they went through like the leader's like childhood and like everything.
I went with a more of a bury the lead kind of approach.
Yeah.
I guess.
Okay.
And like I wanted, yeah, with the ones I read, they talked about Mark first in most of the articles and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll tell the backstory. It helps my crazy brain to go in order.
Yeah, I like doing chronological order.
Yeah, this makes most sense to me if I can kind of keep it that way. But yeah, it's so gross. It had like iron and wooden spikes, charred chunks of human brain, and a roasted turtle, apparently. Why? They needed a turtle for flavor. Turtle soup. Oh, God.
Yeah. Oh.
Oh. Yes, it had been used for sacrificial rituals. That's hard to say. I shouldn't have wrote that.
Sacrificial.
My sacrifice. Okay. The family said it was their religion. It's like, no, that's a cult. And this,
Yeah, Palo Myombi or whatever it's called.
yes.
Yeah.
That's what a lot.
Yeah.
Yes, that came up, and then another like religion is also mentioned.
But
So I don't
yeah,
know.
there's like an offshoot that Crimes and Consequences talked about. They like went in detail about the religion. It's fucked.
Okay, and I was like, I
So
can't
creepy.
go too deep into it, or I'll get so many pages.
Yeah.
But I have a little bit. Okay, well, yeah, maybe you know more. I don't know. I do know it was led by this guy called Adolfo de Jesus Constanzo, who was only 26. That's crazy.
Wow.
But he was called El Padrino the Godfather.
I like that.
Pardon me. Yeah.
Great movies.
Oh my God. El Padrino. Quote from Rolling Stone: 2 of the cultists were rumored to have been wearing necklaces made from human vertebrae when they were arrested. They said that their rites made them invisible and impervious to bullets. At one point, a member of the cult pulled back his shirt to show a series of marks on his arms and back. The symbols, he explained, marked him as a killer. Okay.
Oh, like a tally.
Yeah. Got tears on my face.
Yeah.
Oh, what a loser.
I mean, a tally is cooler than little teardrops on your face. I'm sorry. That'll never look badass. I'm sorry. Little emo teardrop face.
Yeah. Are they crying because they killed someone? What does it mean?
I don't know. It's so stupid.
Well, and why does every celebrity couple have to get tattoos of each other? It's just
right?
the dumbest thing to get. Oh, we'll get to it. Remember, I got that up my sleeve. We're going to do it like a Patreon where I go through that list of the worst tattoos. I was reading that on this Reddit.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
Yeah, me too. Well, we haven't done our March one yet, so we'll see. Oh. All right, first we got to get through this. I'm so sorry. Yeah, they were partly inspired by the 1987 film The Believers, I guess. I haven't seen it. Don't know if I want to after this. Like, they would often have movie nights where they would screen the movie. And the movie is, quote, starring Martin Sheen and directed by John Schlesinger. I'm so sorry. The film is about a cult in New York City that conducts human sacrifices to gain money and power. Yay.
Okay.
Yeah, so that seems like what they were doing. It, like, a few sources said that he was also a practitioner of Santeria, which has been called an underground Caribbean religion. But it just makes me think of that song, which is apparently by Sublime.
I don't practice Santeria.
Yeah.
I ain't got no crystal ball.
That song slaps. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't really understand Santeria. I copied a quote about it. Did they talk about it in that Crimes and Consequences at all? Or was it more the other one you go into? The Paolo Mayombe.
Yeah, I think that, well, they said that he was doing it like you said, kind of to like charge money, and they were basically using it to like fund the drugs and stuff, and that he was like kind of like a fake, like he was selling like fake protection to people, so they'd make like those necklaces and they'd run around being like, I'm impervious to bullets and stuff, because he'd tell them, if you wear this and I put this spell on you, but he was charging like insane amounts for this stuff. Like he charged like $6,000 for like a 1 hour spell that would make you bulletproof for 6 months or make you invisible to cops. Like it was crazy.
Okay. I did read
Yeah.
something about him charging like politicians.
Yeah, it was insane. Yeah. So like he was doing that to like get more like income for like other uses, but like the whole religious thing, if I remember correctly, it was like his mom that actually was like the Palo Mayombe or whatever, and she like taught him like a bunch of stuff, and then he kind of went like crazy with it.
Yes, I think I have a little bit about that in a little bit, that's in the family. It's like, oh, that's
it's pretty creepy.
I can't think of any other word today. I'm like, creepy.
I like cults like that. I find them more interesting than like doomsday cult kind of stuff sometimes.
Yeah, doomsday cults can be just so wrong, or like suicide-y.
Yeah.
Word. So I just had that Santeria is Spanish for the way of the saints. This is just quoted from it was Britannica? Yeah, Britannica. That's a good, I like that website.
Yeah.
And then it's also called La Regla de la Ocha, the order of the Orishas, or La Religion Lusimi. I'm so sorry. The Order of Lusumi. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Probably not.
Don't sue me.
It's like maybe that's why most people just call it Saint. And it's the most common name. Yeah, Santeria is the most common name given to. It's a religious tradition of African origin that was developed in Cuba and then spread throughout Latin America and the United States. So I thought that was kind of interesting. But I don't know. I don't know if any of that. I'm just seeing if any of this is actually like relevant. Like they kind of worshiped saints too. Like they had some bits of Roman Catholic kind of influence in there.
Oh, okay.
And it's based upon the development of personal relationships through divination, sacrifice, initiation, and mediumship between practitioners of the religion and the Orisha deities, who provide their devotees with protection, wisdom, and success, and who guide devotees in times of crisis.
Okay.
How wholesome. So there was also evidence of the practice Palo Mayombe, quote, Palo Mayombe, a darker mix of voodoo and African gods with origins in the Congo, is what they said. And I guess it has sort of a patron saint of criminals in this religion called Ogum or Ogum, I'm not sure. He's or quote, the presiding priest or Mayombero becomes possessed by the spirits and blows cigar smoke and spits liquor at his victim before killing him.
Hello.
Rude.
Okay.
Weird, yeah. But it also said that neither religion practices human sacrifices. However, like nowadays, that's all just usually animals if you're going to be practicing these religions. Like this, these guys took it to the extreme. Yeah,
on Crimes and Consequences, they like went through a list and it was like $400 for a chicken, whatever for like a cat, and it was like, oh my god.
Gosh.
Yeah,
I should listen to that. That sounds really interesting.
It was a good episode. Like they went back to like when this dude was like born, like, and his mom, like they went through, it was crazy. Yeah, there's so much.
I don't do quite a deep dive on him. I just couldn't, but he sounds pretty fucking gnarly.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, here I have where they talked about it a little bit. It said, quote, Constanzo's mother and grandmother were both known santeras, or priestesses who worship the spirits at altars in their Miami, Florida homes. Yay. Neighbors of the Constanzos remember that as a boy, Adolfo would sometimes leave dead animals on other people's doorsteps. Rolling stone.
Yeah. Do you get into it? If I remember correctly, he's also
Yeah.
like, I believe either gay or bisexual.
Oh,
I think it was gay. Adolfo is.
okay.
Yeah.
I didn't come across that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It
They talk
just,
about in Crimes and Consequences. He was living with like two dudes and then this like one woman that like was in love with him and like
oh,
revealed
she's,
basically that he was like gay and stuff. And then so she just got super, super into Palomiami to make him happy, but they were never like romantically involved or
oh,
something. Yeah, but she went like crazy.
is that his second in command, Sarah Aldrete?
I
Aldrete?
maybe.
That was my next point, is he had a second in command sort of, who was also a student from Texas, like Mark Kilroy. She attended Texas Southmost College, and she was also sometimes called the godmother or the witch by the cult members, but she like led a double life as a good student, like in Texas by day, like ritual cultist by night.
Yeah. I can't remember exactly if it was her.
Oh,
It's
that would
it's
make
been a while since I
sense as to
listened to
why.
that.
I could see
Like,
that being her like motive. Huh.
yeah.
And it said, quote, the suspects, who showed no signs of remorse during their confessions, said that Kilroy was kidnapped after Constanzo ordered the sacrifice of an Anglo student. Kilroy, they told police, had almost escaped. Like
Oh,
Britney.
yeah. I hate that.
Oh, me too. But he had been wrestled back into the car and taken out to the ranch. After being bound and gagged with heavy tape, Kilroy had been imprisoned in the shack. He was told that nothing would happen to him, and he was fed a meal of eggs, bread, and water. 12 hours after he had been captured, Kilroy was led outside and Constanzo executed him with a chop to the back of the neck with a machete, end quote. Ugh. They did target drunk tourists, apparently. That's, you were saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ugh, so gross. And police still needed to find the leader. So after burning down the death barn place, shack, whatever, I'm glad they did that, because they like tried to get all the bad energy out of that area.
Yeah.
Burnt it to the ground.
Yeah. Like cleansed the ground or whatever. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. That's like the word I was looking for. So they found him. They tracked him down to an apartment building he had been hiding out in. And quote, as the cops closed in, Constanzo ordered Alvaro de Leon Valdez to shoot him and his longtime companion, Martin Quintana Rodriguez. Maybe
those are, if I remember correctly, those are his two boyfriends or whatever. Yeah.
Okay, that's a detail I just didn't know I needed, but
yeah.
Wow. Salacious, titillating.
If I remember correctly. Yeah.
Probably. I think because this one was, I don't know, maybe they didn't want to get into it, and I definitely didn't go in on like any Reddit or anything.
Yeah.
This time. And he was telling him, do it. If you don't do it, you're going to pay with circumstances in hell, says Aldrete afterward.
You're going to pay with circumstances. Okay.
Is that a translation issue?
Yeah, what does that mean?
Circumstances.
Maybe consequences. Maybe consequences.
Yeah.
Circumstances.
I know. I copied this one from the article too. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a translation issue.
She said also, he said that he wanted to die with Martin. When the Federales burst into the apartment a few moments later, they found black candles, 2 swords, a skull made of white wax, and a blindfolded doll holding another doll. Don't know what that's about. And Constanzo and Quintana were found slumped together in a small closet, their bodies riddled with bullets. De Leon Valdez, Aldrete, and 3 other members of the cult were arrested on charges of homicide, criminal association, wounding a police agent, and damage to the property. Almost done. Sarah Aldrete, still not sure if I'm saying that right, but she claimed she was an unwilling participant in the group, but stories from fellow students told a different story. She had shown several students the Believers movie and talked about rituals and stuff that they thought was just a little weird. Like,
Yeah.
dude, not into that. They're like, haha, no thanks. Authorities were definitely glad they caught the main perpetrators, but not at all confident that they have rooted out all the tendrils of this sick organization. Unfortunately. Rumors abounded that the cult had highfalutin clients, like you're talking about, that would just pay like it's up to $8,000 for a session.
Yeah.
Oh
It was
God.
like crazy.
Like, of course
They'd be like, yeah, we'll do this and this will make you like invisible to the police. They won't even see you, or if they're like on your track, they won't arrest you for whatever reason, even though they know it's you. And it's like, okay.
Oh my God.
Like, it was insane.
Just let
And
me
apparently it worked. Like, people actually believed it because they'd be like, yeah, people would come like once a month for these sessions.
They're like, well, I didn't get hit with any bullets, so I guess it worked.
Yeah.
Yeah. So James and Helen Kilroy had turned their grief into action by establishing a nonprofit anti-drug foundation in Mark's name. Oh, sorry, this is a quote too. We're definitely putting our energy into the fight against drugs, said Mr. Kilroy after hearing that his son's killer was dead. For that reason, we don't look back. We try to look forward. And as for the towns of Brownsville and Matamoros, they are trying to clear their names of this bad image they kind of ended up with from that.
Yeah.
It's not really their fault of the safety of the cities, and I guess that's my opinion, but Donald Wells, the American consulate in Matamoros, says, quite frankly, beer is cheap in Mexico and the Mexicans make some of the finest beer in the world. Matamoros is a decent, hardworking Christian community. If there's any message, it is this. It could happen. If it could happen here, it could happen anywhere. And that is my case.
I mean, that's very true. Yeah, just because like people like that can really like settle anywhere. It doesn't mean it necessarily had to come about in a specific place.
It's hard because I think, yeah, people, we listen to true crime and then the places and the polices.
Oh, yeah.
They can get dragged through the mud, but a lot of time there's really good people that work and live there and on the police force, and they try their hardest, and it's just like, fuck, we just fight a good fight. It's all you can do. I mean, we live in a city, Edmonton's got not a great reputation either.
No, yeah, we have high like murder rates and stuff. We just had a mass shooting like this week.
A mass?
Yeah, two guys opened fire. Where was it? Somewhere crazy, and one guy died. Yeah.
I remember you were looking at the news when we were like in Vegas, and there was a robbery gone kind of like sideways or whatever, but I hadn't heard anything else since then, I don't think.
Police arrested and charged 2 people in relation to a horrific mass shooting that killed 1 man and injured 6 others in central Edmonton on Saturday. So this was on the 17th. So on Saturday.
I wonder why they called it a mass if there was only
makes
one
no sense.
injured. Wow.
Approximately 60 or 70 shots were fired at a crowd. It's on videotape. It happened outside of Airtail Lounge near 124th Street and 118th Avenue around 2:45 a.m. Saturday. At the scene, police found 7 people with gunshot wounds. 1 person later died.
Yeah, that's rough.
There was I think it was like drug related. Yeah, the shooting was gang violence or whatever, but 60 to 70 shots were shot into a crowd.
I mean, yeah, and they couldn't have all been necessarily, they weren't all from the gang. Like people, there was probably innocent.
Oh no, people were probably shooting back. Yeah.
Ugh, Jesus, what is this? Alcohol in the freaking Prohibition era and the St. Valentine's Day Massacre. Oh my God.
Yeah, I like saw a thing and it was like mass shooting in Edmonton. I was like, mass shooting in Edmonton? What?
Yeah, those headlines that are like clickbait, right?
Yeah.
something terrible happened. But yeah, that kind of stuff is scary. When we've had like people do the thing where they take a vehicle and like run it
Oh, yeah.
like towards a crowd, at least, like shit like
Yeah,
that.
they drive through people. Yeah, those are scary. I
Ugh,
don't like that.
no, we live in a good area. I don't know. It's not bad.
Yeah.
I live in like the burbs now almost. But
Yeah, it's a nice like subdivision kind of thing you live in.
yeah. And on that note, come see us. Come visit our city. Oh my god.
I'll cut this out.
No. No. Oh yeah, so what are we doing for next week? Episode 50. We should tell.
It's classic cryptids.
That's what we calling it, bitches.
Are we revealing what we're doing, like specifically, or are we gonna leave it at that?
I think we'll leave it at that.
Okay.
I think we haven't even discussed specifically, but we know we wanted to do some of the big boys that we haven't talked about, which is admittedly quite a few, because I like learning about ones that are new to me. But
yeah,
you know, we're castles and cryptids, so we're gonna talk about
people can put up with one of that they've probably heard everything about already.
Yeah. Oh,
but
now
they
my
haven't heard
computer.
us do it. So
No, they have not. I'm fucking gonna do the shit out of it. All right. Well, thanks for listening. Don't forget to like, rate wherever you are, tell a friend, donate on Patreon if you like what we do.
Yes. And support us on Patreon for bonus episodes and video episodes and stuff like that.
A lot of bonus content. We are working hard on it.
Working hard or hardly working. One of those.
That's the technology we use. It hardly works.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? I had the issue. I uploaded it. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah. I'm fixing our YouTube video right now.
Right?
It will be uploaded in like 40 some minutes.
We did not sit on a haunted chair. We are okay as of this time of this recording. We are alive and well. Well, that's cool, but we're alive
and well. We're alive.
That thing they had on Wine and Crime recently, it was a character or a person in their case that just said, "I am not well," and I just that stuck in my head. Like, you're just having a bad day. I think they have it on some merch now. Anyway, we'll have merch too. Donate Patreon. Okay, we love you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks for listening.
This has been Castles and Cryptids. You can listen to our podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Anchor, Breaker, Pocket Cast, and our YouTube channel. Please rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Reddit. On our website, you can listen to all of our episodes as well as view pictures for each of our segments. Check out our Patreon page to view all of our tiers and become a Patreon supporter today to unlock monthly bonus episodes and behind-the-scenes content. We are working on an Ask Us Anything. You can submit questions by social media or by email at castlesandcryptids@gmail.com. Do you have a spooky ghost story, a creepy cryptid sighting, or a thrilling true crime tale you would like to share and have us include in a future episode? Send us your listener story by social media or by email. Please include the name that you would like mentioned. Our music is by Kobe Fair. Our logo and artwork is by Antonio Garcia. Thanks for listening.